learn about a transformer. So the phase shifting parameters of the transformer, that means the primary side resistance is shifted to secondary side and secondary side resistance is shifted to primary side. So you can call it as a R2 dash and R1 dash. So you learn about what is meant by R2 dash and what is meant by R1 dash, which is nothing but a equivalent primary resistance referred to secondary side, which is nothing but a R1 dash. Equivalent secondary side resistance is shifted to primary side, which is nothing but a R2 dash. So we can say in this manner, okay. So we'll see about a transformer shifting parameters, winding shifting parameters, winding resistance shifting parameters, and the leakage resistance, leakage reactance shifting parameters, and the equivalent circuit of a transformer. And next, OC and SC test, open circuit test and short circuit test on a transformer. In detail explanation of OC test, how the OC test is to be conducted on a transformer and a short circuit test is conducted on a transformer, we'll see in this video clearly. So in transformers we'll see about a shifting of parameters. So I'm drawing the transformer diagram. So this transformer is having a primary resistance. This is the primary winding. So this is given to a supply, alternating supply, and this transformer is having a secondary circuit which is having a R2 secondary winding resistance, which is nothing but a R2, and this is R1 and this is V1. So the current passing into this primary winding is I1 and the current flowing into this secondary circuit is I2, and this is a load. Okay, now this secondary value of resistance is shifted to primary. Secondary value of resistance is denoted as R2. This R2 is shifted to primary side, then it is called as a equivalent secondary resistance referred to primary side. So that is denoted with R2 dash. Okay, so now I am redrawing the circuit. So this is R2 dash and this is R1 and this is I1. This is source. Okay, and again I am drawing the secondary circuit. Secondary circuit, there is no resistance on the secondary side. Why? Because we have already shifted. So this, why this is necessary to shift the parameters? So in order to, the necessary is in order to make the calculations easier. In order to make the calculations easier, we are shifting the parameters. In order to make the calculations easier, we are shifting the parameters on the secondary side or primary side parameters to secondary side. Okay, now the secondary side, there is only the load will be there here. Okay, so the secondary resistance is shifted to primary side, so it is called as a equivalent secondary resistance referred to primary side. So now I want the value of this particular R2 dash. So now consider, before shifting, what is the copper loss of this I2 square. So you already know about the copper loss. Copper loss is in the form of I square R. So the value of this secondary side is nothing but a copper loss is nothing but a before shifting. This is a before shifting. Okay, after shifting you don't consider the R1 value. Now I want the R2 dash value, so you don't consider R1 value. So now take the copper loss on the primary side after shifting. After shifting, so the secondary value of resistance is shifted to primary side, then it is denoted by R2 dash. So before shifting, the secondary side copper loss is nothing but a I2 square R2, and after shifting the value of R2 dash is R2 is changed to R2 dash, and in order to find out the R2 dash value, so we must take the copper loss on the primary side after shifting. So after shifting, we don't consider the R1 value. Now what is the copper loss on the primary side after shifting? So I1 square R2 dash, I1 square R2 dash. Now equate 1 and 2 equations, so that you will get equate 1 and 2 equations. So I am writing here. So I1 square R2 dash is equals to I2 square R2. So which implies R2 dash is equals to I2 by I1 whole square R2. So R2 dash is equals to, so as you know that I2 by I1 is nothing but 1 by k. So 1 by k whole square, that is k is a transformation ratio. So k is nothing but I1 by I2. Okay, so here there is a term called as I2 by I1. So we can write 1 by k. Okay, 1 by k square R2. So the value of R2 dash is nothing but 1 by k square times of R2. Okay, in a similar way, the primary resistance R1 is shifted to secondary side, then what is the value of R1? So we will call it as a R1 dash. Okay, so now consider the diagram. So this is R2 and this is R1. We are giving a supply. So this is the primary circuit and this is the secondary circuit. So this is V1 and this is I1 and this is I2. Okay, so now we'll see this primary side resistance R1 is shifted to secondary side. So primary side resistance R1 is shifted to secondary side. So now I am redrawing the circuit. I am don't considering the R2 value here. So here the primary side resistance is shifted, so that it is called as a dash, R1 dash. So before shifting, what is the copper loss? So before shifting, so primary side copper loss is I1 square R1, and after shifting, what is the secondary side copper loss? So here what is the current flowing in this? I2. So after shifting, I2 square R1 dash. So equate these two equations. So I1 square R1 is equals to I2 square R1 dash. So but we want the R1 dash value, so that I1 by I2 whole square R1, which implies I1 by I2 is nothing but a transformation ratio k square times of R1. So the value of R1 dash is equals to k square times of R1. So in this way we can shift the primary side resistance into secondary side, and similarly secondary side resistance into primary side. In the similar way we can shift the parameters of reactance also. So the primary side reactance X1 is shifted to secondary side. So it is denoted with X1 dash. So in the same manner we will calculate them the same manner. The same equation is arrived. So I am not again deriving the same thing. Okay, similarly the value I can write as x1 dash is equals to k square times of x1. Similarly, the secondary side reactance is denoted with x2 is shifted to primary side. Primary side, it is called as a x2 dash. If the secondary reactance is shifted to primary side, means it is denoted as x2 dash. x2 dash is equals to, so we got the already relationship between r2 dash and r2. So r2 dash is equals to k square times of r2. In the same manner, x2 dash is equals to x2 by k square. So from these derivations we can say that if the parameters can be shifted to any side, so depending on the value of a transformation ratio, we can shift the parameters to any side. Okay, now we'll see about a equivalent circuit of a transformer. Equivalent circuit of a transformer, this is the next topic. So I am drawing the transformer. So transformer is consists of a winding. So winding is having a resistance and a leakage reactance. So this is R1, primary winding resistance and primary winding reactance. X1 is denoted as a leakage reactance of the primary winding. So this is the supply, and now it is given to secondary winding. Secondary winding is also having a winding resistance and winding reactance which is connected to the load. So this is V2 and this is E1 and this is E2. As the turns, number of turns on the primary side is N1, number of turns on the secondary side is N2. Here it is denoted as resistance. The secondary side resistance is denoted as R2 and reactance is denoted as X2, and the supply voltage is nothing but V1. The current flowing in the primary circuit is nothing but I1. So in the current flowing in the secondary circuit is nothing but I2. So this is the actual circuit schematic diagram of a transformer. From this we want the equivalent circuit. So in order to draw the equivalent circuit, so first whenever the load is connected, before connecting a load, what is the current flowing in the primary circuit? I0. So now we want to draw the no load equivalent circuit first. So as you know that no load current is divided into, practically it is divided into two components. So one is a magnetizing current. This I0 is divided into two components. One is a magnetizing current, it is denoted as I mu. One is a active component of current, which is nothing but a working component of current, IW. So this is the no load current. Now the transformer winding is there here. So as the core is represented by two lines. Why? Because two lines indicates the iron core. Here N2 is greater than N1, so that we can say the number of turns on the N2 secondary circuit is more than the number of circuit turns in the primary side. So as the secondary winding is consisting of two winding resistance R2 and winding reactance X2, and the load voltage, load having a voltage which is appearing across the load, which is indicated as V2, as the E2 is produced on the secondary circuit, which is nothing but a mutually induced EMF. The self-induced EMF is also produced in the primary circuit, which is nothing but E1, as the current is passing into the winding is nothing but I1. So as we know that before connecting load, the current will be is nothing but I0. So after connection of load, there will be additional current in order to compensate that I2. So the primary have draw the load component of current, which is nothing but I2 dash. We have already seen the operation of a transformer under no loaded condition. So So this I2 is equal and opposite with this I2 value, so that flux in the core is maintained as a constant. Okay, so the combination of I0 plus I2 dash is nothing but I1. Okay, so this is the exact equivalent circuit of a transformer. This is the exact equivalent circuit. Now this equivalent circuit is shifted to primary side. How? That means all the parameters on the secondary side is shifted to primary side. So then what happens to the equivalent circuit? We'll see. Now this secondary value of resistance and reactance is shifted to primary side. So then it is called as a equivalent circuit referred to primary side. Okay, so this is the diagram. We can see the secondary value of resistance and reactance is shifted to primary side. So then it is called as R2 dash and R1. So as you know the value of R2 dash, R2 by K square. So we have already derived. In the similar way we can say that X2 dash is equals to X2 by K square. Okay, so in this way we can say equivalent circuit referred to primary side. Okay, now we will see this load is also shifted to primary side. What happens? The circuit is changed to how? So now there is an approximation called as R1 plus R2 dash can be, these are connected in series. Why? Because here the current flowing through R1 and R2 dash are same. In the same manner the current flowing through X1 and X2 dash are same. So thus these are connected in series, so that entire current flowing in this particular circuit, particular branch is same. So we can, so when two resistors are connected in series, we can add them and equate into, and we can represent into one resistance. In the same manner the reactances are also added. Why? Because these are connected in series and they can represent in one reactance value. So I am representing one resistance and one reactance. So by adding these two values we'll get R01. R01 is nothing but R1 plus R2 dash. In the same manner I represent X01. X01 is nothing but X1 plus X2 dash. These two are added here. Okay, so in the same manner I represented IW and I mu, R0, X0. This is V1, this is I1, this is I2 dash. Secondary circuit is represented as like this. Okay. Now this load is also shifted to primary side. So that means entire circuit on the secondary side is shifted to primary side. Then there is no secondary circuit and there is no primary circuit. Only one equivalent circuit will be there. So secondary side current is also shifted to the primary side. It is called as an I2 dash. So again I am redrawing the circuit by shifting the load parameters on the primary side. Load is having a impedance Z2, ZL. ZL is the impedance of the load. Impedance, you know about the impedance. Impedance is a combination of, we have already completed the AC circuits. In the AC circuits we already studied about what is impedance. Impedance is nothing but a combination or a vector sum of resistance and reactance. So in this way we can approximate the circuit. Okay, so which is nothing but the secondary side parameters is shifted to primary side. So this is called as a ZL dash. The impedance of the load is changed to ZL dash. So what is the value of ZL dash? ZL dash is nothing but a secondary side impedance. This is the secondary side impedance. In the same manner we have converted the impedance is similar to resistance and reactance. So in the same manner ZL by K square, you got expression as ZL by K square. So but what is the value of V2 dash? So this is nothing but a V2. So we can say this is a V2 dash. Why we are writing it as V2 dash means this V2 is shifted to primary side. so that we can change the value of as a V2 dash. Now what is the value of V2 dash? I want that. This is X01. So here R01 is a total resistance referred to primary side. Here X01 is called as a total reactance referred to primary side. In the same manner, I represent all the parameters. This is I1, this is I2 dash, okay, and this is V1. Okay, so now I want a V2 dash value. This is the approximate equivalent circuit referred to primary side. Okay, this is the approximate equivalent circuit referred to primary side. Okay, so now what is the value of V2 dash? I want a V2 dash value. So before going to V2 dash, so V2 dash is nothing but a equivalent value of a secondary value, equivalent secondary voltage, equivalent secondary voltage referred to primary side. Okay, V2 is nothing but a equivalent secondary voltage referred to primary side. So in order to find out the V2 dash value, we must take the condition of a transmission ratio, which is nothing but a V2 by V1. V2 by V1 is nothing but a transformation ratio. So V2 dash, so we can substitute V2 in the place of V2 dash. Why? Because it is a V2 dash is nothing but a equivalent secondary voltage referred to primary side. That is nothing but secondary voltage. So I am substituting in the place of secondary voltage as a V2 dash. So you'll get a relation as a V2 dash is equals to K times of V1. So what is the value of a V2 dash here? K times of V1, sorry, KV1. Okay, so as you know V1 value, we can easily calculate the V2 dash value. Okay, now what is about the I2 dash value? So we already know about the I2 dash value, so which is obtained from the transformation ratio, as we have calculated similar in the I1 dash N1 is equals to I2 N2. So which implies I1 dash is equals to I2 multiplied by N1 by N2. So I1 dash is equals to I2, sorry, this is I2 dash. So I2 dash is equals to I2 multiplied by N1 by N2 is nothing but a K. So the I2 dash value is nothing but a I2 times of K. I2 times of K. So we know the value of I2, so we can easily calculate the I2 dash value from this. So this can be further approximated as we know that under full load condition, it is a full load current is flowing, which is mentioned in the nameplate details. But under no load condition, which is about 2 to 5% of full load current, which is very less. So this particular branch is neglected. So this circuit is further approximated that by neglecting the no load branch. So as we know that the no load current is usually 2 to 5% of full load current, so we can neglect the no load branch in the equivalent circuit. So I am redrawing the circuit as like this. So this is the approximated equivalent circuit referred to primary side. So this is further approximated circuit. So it is consisting of only load and resistance values. Here R01 is the total resistance of the transformer referred to primary side. Here X01 is the total reactance of the transformer referred to primary side. Okay, this is a ZL dash. Their load impedance is consisting of a ZL dash, and here this is called as a V2 dash. What is the value of V2 dash? V2 dash is nothing but a K times of V1. K times of V1. Okay, so this is the approximated equivalent circuit referred to primary side. See about the equivalent circuit referred to secondary side. Equivalent circuit referred to secondary side. So as you know about an equivalent circuit, how to draw an equivalent circuit, first we need to draw the exact circuit of a transformer. So for that I am considering the core. This is the core of a transformer. Okay, so here the winding is wound. Okay, so the primary winding is consisting of a resistance and a leakage reactance. Okay, and the secondary is having also winding and a reactance with a load. So here the primary voltage is represented as V1 and the primary resistance is R1 and the primary reactance is X1. Similarly, here the secondary resistance is R2 and secondary reactance is X2 and the load voltage is V2. So this is load. Okay, now this equivalent circuit is referred to secondary side. That means the primary parameters are shifted to secondary side so that it will converts into. Again I am drawing the equivalent circuit, the exact circuit in this way. This is I1 and this is R1 and this is X1 and this is EMF induced in the primary winding E1 and this is representation of iron core. Okay, and this is R2 and this is X2 and this is load. Ensure that load is having an impedance which is denoted as ZL. ZL is the impedance of the load. Okay, V2 is the terminal voltage and E2 is the EMF induced in the secondary winding. So I2 is the current flowing in the secondary winding. Now this entire primary circuit is referred to secondary side, means the circuit is changed to. Yeah, this is a primary resistance which is referred to secondary side, so it will be called as R1 dash, and similarly the X1 is also referred to secondary side, so which is called as, here there is no resistance. Okay, two resistances and two reactances, so this primary reactance is referred to secondary side, so then it is called as the X1 dash. So the value of R1 dash is nothing but a k square times of R1. Similarly, X1 dash is nothing but k square times of X1. So we have already seen these expressions, so we have already derived, and then we are having a secondary winding resistance R2 and that is represented here, and a secondary reactance X2 that is represented here. Now I am drawing the resistance. So the no load branch is also, so without connecting load, there will be some current is passing in the primary circuit. That current is nothing but a no load current. So the no load branch is also shifted to primary side. So it will be called as I0 dash. The no load current is flowing here is I0 dash. So this is R0 dash and this is X0 dash, which is referred to primary side. Okay, secondary side. So here this I0 value is nothing but a referred to secondary side, so it is a primary current referred to secondary side. As we know about a no load current is usually a 2 to 5% of full load current, so this branch can be neglected by approximation. Okay, next term is nothing but, so this is V2 and this is E1 dash, which is equal to E2. Okay, why? Because we are shifted to this side, so the value changes from E1 dash is equals to, so the transformation ratio is nothing but E2 by E1, so which is equals to K. So now we can substitute E2 by E1 dash is equals to, so that I want a E1 dash value, E1 dash is equals to E2 by K. So this value E2 by K. So we have already got the value of E2. So the value will be equals to E1 dash is equals to E2 by K. Okay. Now this circuit is again approximated as, this is the exact circuit, and this circuit is referred to, the primary circuit parameters are referred to secondary side, then this circuit is changed like this. Okay, now we are neglecting, well, that means we are approximating the circuit, we are approximating the circuit like this. So by adding these two resistances, so we'll get this is R02 and this is X02. By adding these two reactances, you will get X02. X02 is the total reactance of the transformer referred to secondary side. Similarly, R02 is nothing but a total resistance of the transformer referred to secondary side. Okay. Now again, if you neglect no load branch, why? Because no load current is usually 2 to 5% of full load current. That's why I am neglecting no load branch. So the circuit is changed like this. So this is R02 and this is X02 and this is a load V2 and this is a E1 dash, which is nothing but a E2 by K. Value is nothing but E2 by K. Okay. As E2, we know that as E2 is equals to V2, we know that E1 dash is equals to E2 by K. Okay. So this is the value. This is the approximate circuit. This is the approximate circuit referred to secondary side. Okay. Now we understand about what is a equivalent circuit. So how we can draw the equivalent circuit referred to primary side, how we can draw the equivalent circuit referred to secondary side of a transformer. Okay. Now let us know about the open circuit test to be performed on a transformer in order to find out the efficiency and the losses in a transformer. So in transformer, so now we'll see about a first transformer losses in a transformer. So total losses is equals to core loss plus copper loss. Here there are no mechanical losses. Why? Because the transformer is a stationary part. So there are no mechanical losses. So total losses comes under total losses are nothing but a core losses and copper loss. So you know that about a core losses are nothing but iron losses which occur in the part of core. So that's why magnetic parts which are nothing but a core, due to hysteresis loss, the core losses come under hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. We have already know about this hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. We have already discussed it in the DC machine chapter. Now we will discuss in terms of a transformer. So in copper loss, we know that about copper loss occurs when the current flowing in the winding, it will dissipate in the form of a ohmic loss. So that loss is nothing but a copper loss, so which is in the form of I square R. So in transformer there are two windings, so there are two copper loss occur in the transformer. One is a primary winding copper loss, secondary winding copper loss. So as I have already told you that the copper loss will depends on will proportional to the square of the current. So that means if we write in the equation form, this copper loss are occurring in through the resistance. Whenever current flowing in the resistance, there will be some ohmic loss occurs. That loss is nothing but a copper loss. So we can write copper loss is equals to I square R. So if the primary winding, the current flowing in the primary winding is represented as I1, and the current flowing and the resistance of the primary winding is R1, so then the I1 square R1 represents the equation for the primary winding copper loss. Similarly, I want to represent the secondary winding copper loss is nothing but a I2 square R2. Secondary winding current is nothing but I2 and secondary winding resistance is nothing but R2. So the I2 square R2 is nothing but a secondary winding copper loss. Okay, now I want a total copper loss of a transformer is nothing but a I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2. So which is equals to, if I referred the R2 resistance to primary side, then it will be called as R2 dash. Okay, so then the total winding copper loss can be represented in terms of, so I1 square, if I referred the total parameters on the resistance parameters on the primary side, so that means the secondary resistance is also referred to primary side, then total copper loss on the transformer can be written as, so which implies, so R1 plus R2 dash is nothing but a R01. So which will be again equal to, suppose if primary resistance is shifted to secondary side, so then it is called as a I2 square, secondary side current will be passing, so then current will be I2 square R2 plus R1 dash. So R2 plus R1 dash can be called as total resistance of the transformer referred to secondary side, which is implies R02. So this here we can say that I1 square R1 plus I2 square R2 is equals to I1 square R01, which is equals to I2 square R02. Okay, so this is the, so we can use any of these formulas to find out the copper loss of a transformer, total copper loss of a transformer. Okay, now coming to core losses. Core losses are nothing but iron losses which occur in the parts of a core. So that's why this loss come under. This loss is mainly occurs in the heating of a, due to heating of a core. So how the hysteresis loss takes place? So due to the, so we have already said that we are giving a supply here, we are giving in transformer, we are giving a AC supply. So in AC supply, during positive half cycle and negative half cycle, the magnetic cycles are reversal. So that means there will be, during positive half cycle, it will be the magnetic domains are aligned in particular direction. During negative half cycle, the magnetic domains are reversed in its direction. So continuously this motion, nothing but a direction of a magnetic domains are continuously changing with respect to the supply polarity. Why? Because we are giving an AC supply. 50 the frequency value is 50 cycles per second. Okay, so per second these magnetic domains are changing from positive and negative, so that it will change the direction continuously. So this, during this process there will be some amount of loss will be occurring in the part of core. So that loss is nothing but which will appear in the form of heat. Okay, so that loss is nothing but the hysteresis loss. In order to reduce this hysteresis loss, we are using a high grade silicon steel material. Okay, next, what do you mean by eddy current loss? Eddy current loss means, so whenever the current is passing into the some transformer core, so here we are giving a supply to the winding, okay, or supply to the winding terminals. So current will be passing into the winding, and the some due to as the current is passing into the winding, flux will be set up in the core. If the flux will be set up in the core, then the flux will also induce some part of a conducting material of the core. Okay, so then EMF will be induced in the core. EMF will also be induced in the core. Due to this small value of this EMF is very very small in nature, so compared to the winding induced EMF. Okay, so this core value of EMF is very very less, but as a core is of complete path, closed path, so due to this EMF, the current will be passing into the EMF. That currents are nothing but circulating currents. That currents are also called as eddy currents. Okay, so what do you mean by eddy current loss? The copper loss occurring or heat loss occurring in core due to eddy currents. Due to eddy currents, the heat loss occur in the core due to eddy currents. How the eddy currents are produced? So whenever you are giving a supply to the primary winding, the current will be passing into the primary winding and the flux will be set up in the core. As a flux, some part of the flux will links the core material. So as whenever, according to the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, the flux linking with the core changes, or flux linking with the conducting material changes, and EMF will be induced. So the some EMF will also be induced in the core. Not only winding, EMF, some part of EMF will also be induced in the core. Due to that EMF, that EMF is very less. That EMF is sufficient to drive the flow of current, so which produces a huge amount of current, circulating currents. Due to that, we are getting a heat loss in the core. That loss is nothing but a eddy current loss. So in order to minimize the eddy current loss, this core has to be laminated. So in order to minimize the eddy current loss, this core has to be laminated. By using laminations, we can reduce eddy current loss. Okay, so this is the total losses in a transformer. Okay, now we will see about a testing of a transformer. Testing of transformer. So in testing of transformer, there is a direct method of testing and indirect method of testing. So in your syllabus, direct method and indirect method. So direct method, you already know about a direct method. That means load is applied directly on the machine. So that means here your transformer is an electrical machine. We cannot apply mechanical load. So we will apply only the electrical load only. Okay. So if I connected the electrical load on the secondary side, so by loading it, the transformer directly from an electrical load, that method comes under direct method of testing. And indirect method of testing means, if I take a transformer and open circuit on the secondary side, and if I provide the voltage on the full voltage on the primary side, so that is one of the method to find out the efficiency as well as the equivalent circuit and the losses in a transformer. Now we will see about a indirect method of testing, that comes under indirect method of testing. That means practically we are not applying any load on the transformer, but we are directly specifying that we will apply a full voltage on the primary side, and it will open. So the open circuit, you will know about open circuit, there will be a voltage inducing in the secondary side, but current will be not flow in the secondary side. So we'll get a rated value of core losses present in a transformer. So that losses will be indicated through from open circuit test, and comes to the short circuit test. So by shorting it the transformer terminals on the secondary side, so we'll get that means full voltage will be passing at the time of short circuit. Full rated current will be passing into the primary side, so that we will find out as a copper loss are proportional to square of the load. So as a copper loss are proportional to full load current, so from the SC test we can determine the copper loss. So from the OC test we will get a core loss, from the SC test we will get a copper loss. So we will get a total losses in the transformer. By knowing the losses, we can predict the value of by knowing the losses in a transformer and knowing the output value of a transformer, we can predict the efficiency at any loaded condition. Okay, now we'll see about a testing of transformer detail.